Why are we talking about Frankenstein?
So it's like a major
Chris,
plot
please.
point in Frankenstein that Frankenstein wants.
makes a creature.
Yeah, that Frankenstein makes a creature, and the creature wants Victor to make him a bride, such that
Well, I
the
mean,
monster
first
can
he wants Victor to
reproduce.
acknowledge him as a dad, please.
Yeah, but also
Acknowledge him as
he
his
wants
child.
a bride such that he can reproduce, which means
He
that
wants
the
to be
monster can
human.
reproduce.
He wants to have a family. Victor gave his monster a dick.
The biggest dick.
Yeah, he specifically says...
Specifically, yeah.
And this is... I was just reading the
that my mother
text.
did not like the dick conversations we had on that one episode.
It's okay. I was just
And now
reading
she's
the
gonna sit
text.
through this one.
I was just reading the text earlier today. And there's a quote.
Hi, this is Frankencast live on the air. My name's Eddy.
I'm Ben.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jennica.
And I am Evey.
All
Now,
right, continue.
This is actually
there's a
We've done it.
Goblincast. Thank you.
It
Alright,
is
so there's
Goblincast. That was the most successful
Yeah, we
intro
did it.
ever.
Except
Yeah,
we
wow,
didn't say
we-
the name.
Oh, we
No,
went
that
right
was a
across. That's
goof.
perfect.
The name
We
is
can
on the
do-
top
we
of the
can
screen.
do a gaff. We
If
can
they
do a
can't
gaff every
read,
now and again.
They're not going to appreciate this discussion about Frankenstein.
That's true. So, there's a quote in the text when Victor is describing his creation of the creature. And I will only call it a creature because he's not a monster. Anyway,
You don't
he just
think
wants...
Darls was a monster?
We'll talk about Darls. We'll get to this. Anyway, there's a quote in the text describing Victor's creation of his creature where it says
That's
that
sexy.
he selected
Oh, I've read a
the
different Frankenstein than
features
you.
of his creation to be as I can't remember the exact wording used, but to be as attractive as possible. It says features. Now, in Frankenstein by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, anytime they're talking about somebody's
You know her
face,
middle name?
they talk about when they're talking about somebody's
Okay.
face, they say countenance or they say visage.
Her middle name was Wollstonecraft?
This quote uses the phrase features, which leads me to
She
believe,
really
with
doesn't wanna talk about
textual evidence to prove it, that Victor built the handsomest genitalia he could think of for his creature.
Yeah.
Now, why would a man do that?
Mm.
Why?
You know.
Okay, so like he wanted
Why
to create the
is there-
perfect living organism.
Ben, Evey doesn't want you to give a real answer to the question.
No, because I also have to talk about this. The reason
I'm
that I
asking
wanted to talk
Victor
about
why.
the reason that
You
I
know.
wanted to talk about Frankenstein was because in popular culture, Frankenstein is a shambling corpse that is very large and sewn together and with the bolts in his neck and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is because of the movie Frankenstein, correct? Like that is the interpretation that everybody's pulling this from because it was the first visual interpretation of
Yeah,
Frankenstein
and
to my
that's why
knowledge.
everybody thinks that that the creature was a shambling monster
Yes.
who wanted to do
It is
attack
never said
instead of a
that
sweet,
Victor-
darling young man.
Yes, it is never said that Victor made the monster from corpses.
I reread
fact,
the text
there
today
are-
to confirm this.
Yes. In fact, there are implications that he could not make it out of corpses because human minutia is too small to be
Yeah.
worked by a human hand such that it can hold life again.
Victor says
he had
that
to
he must create it
obtain
in a
materials.
gargantuan scale.
Yes. And you
I'm
can't
sorry.
find enough 8-foot corpses to make something like that, and also ones that have, larger blood vessels and nerves that he can
Right.
handle.
I'm
And
sorry.
Victor
So
does
Frankenstein
not and will
made
not
the
explain
monster from
how
other
he
things.
made the monster.
I'm sorry.
And that's why
Wait.
the monster is so large, but what they saw in all popular culture was it is large and corpses are mentioned. Therefore, this thing is a zombie, and they were wrong.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
We looked at the text earlier today, and I've known this for years because while I did
Wait a
not actually
minute.
read the full text of Frankenstein because I knew the entire thing anyway in high
It
school.
was just not one of the things that I ever looked into in the... Frankenstein is my favorite book, by the way. I had to
which was
reread...
real fun when I brought this up earlier.
I had to reread it because he said that he was going to complain about something about Frankenstein and then said that he hadn't actually read the full text, and I walked out of his room and down the stairs.
I've read the first few chapters, and this is in the first few chapters, and it's the only time when it's important.
It is. This is in
After it,
chapter
the creation
4.
of the monster doesn't matter.
No, that's No.
Well, no, because they could describe it later.
Yeah, but like, okay, so
But
like
Evie, you're telling me that
the
that Ben's right.
That Ben could well be right because
This is shattering my worldview right now.
yes,
Right.
but so it
We
always
don't,
bothers me when people say like he made it out of corpses. He selected the best corpse bits. You know, he found all these corpse bits and sewed them into it. And I'm like, he didn't. None of that is true. You are
So-
misremembering the text and claiming to quote it.
So wait, okay, but wait. All right, but hold on.
And it bothers me
is
so
the
much all the time.
And I guess I'm asking Evie because Evie just checked it out. Is the implication, and let me finish before you interrupt.
Mm-mm.
Is the implication that he like made a body/body parts from scratch, or did he use animals or a combination? Like, what's the
So
implication?
I'm
here?
gonna just
Like, he
shrug
won't
at
go
you.
into it?
I'm gonna shrug at you because Victor, while he's describing this whole process leading up to him, building his creation, he also talks about like his wife's, or not his wife, his mom's dead body, and he talks about like his like estranged fiance that walked out on him, and he like he waxes poetic about all this shit, and then says, to the, because it's a frame narrative, he says to the captain that he's talking to, he says, "I'm not gonna bore you with all of this. Anyway, I
God
made
damn
the
it, Victor.
creature." He doesn't go into the detail.
But he does
we-
explicitly bring up why corpses of humans don't work.
Yes, he goes into why. He goes into the difficulty in using human parts, and then just says, "I made the creature." So, I
See,
think it's a
I
case
was under
of
the impression
Mary
that
Shelley doesn't know how he did it, so she's not gonna write how he did it.
I
You know,
was
it's
under the
sci-fi
impression.
thing where it's
Correct
basically
me if
magic,
I'm
but they gave it names.
correct me if I'm wrong, which it sounds like I am. I was under the impression that he couldn't like just take a dead person and bring them back to life through this process, or
That is part of it,
or
yeah.
give them new life through this process, because of science mumbo jumbo,
Mhm.
and therefore he had to make a new body out of parts of other bodies.
Right. So,
Mm.
so that is a valid reading of the text because he doesn't explicitly state that you can't use human parts. What Victor does explicitly state is that the parts have to be large, which is why you can come to the conclusion that he's using animal parts. One of the ways that the
Frankenstein's monster
creature.
was a bear the whole time.
So one of the ways
Or
that
what
the
if it's like
creature
a
is-
few bears and a human head?
It could, well,
Yeah.
so one of the
Possible.
ways that the creature is described, is his skin is described as like
Furry.
stretched and yellow, like
Which is
stretched
also
and
portrayed
yellow.
wrong.
Which, listen, so his skin is stretched and yellow, and this takes place in a
Stretched
place
and
where
yellow,
people
stretched
do
and yellow,
not
stretched and
have,
yellow.
where people do
Yeah.
not have
You know what it
skin
is.
that would typically be a yellowish shade, as well as like
Well, I mean,
when the
like,
human
white
body
skin can
decays,
yellow when it's dead.
usually only when embalming fluids are used. Now, I don't know if formaldehyde was used at this time in history, so I could be wrong on this, but I do know that animal skin, when like treated and like when hides are tanned, they are often yellowish in color. So it could be animal parts used, it could be just abnormally large human parts, or Victor could have, somehow made
Bits.
a body.
Mm.
Yeah, so like, it always bothers me when people are like, corpse parts. And I'm like, how did he find multiple 8-foot corpses such that he could fit them together into a singular body? Especially since he was just in this college town, not attending classes. Because that's another thing, is that Frankenstein was not a doctor. He was a college
Well,
freshman
no
at
one was a
philosophy
doctor
school.
back then.
But he
Come
was a
on.
college
And
freshman
also
at a
everyone
philosophy school
was.
who said,
Um,
you all are idiots because you're not looking at the realities of the world
he
around you.
actually
You're
did
instead-"
study some chemistry.
Okay, I'm sure. But also, he saw a tree get hit by lightning and then went to college and said, I'm smarter than all of you for that.
Dude's absolutely
mean-
bonkers. Like, he's insane.
No,
the guy is like touched.
in
There
his
was no
defense,
castle
he did
involved. He was
create
not an
life
old
where there
mad
was none.
scientist.
He did
Yeah.
create life. He did create life. And
He
the
did
thing
eventually
about
create
Frankenstein,
life where there was none.
the thing about Frankenstein is that he's not necessarily a hack because the thing that he projected, set out to do didn't work. He's a hack because of the way, like the way that he reacted to his own experiments. Like he
Singular.
didn't.
Experiment.
Well, there's
He
there's
didn't-
that
he didn't even
quote. Oh,
have-
bye.
Oh no.
Oh, where'd she
There's
go?
like that quote.
she's
Oh,
back.
hey, welcome back.
I didn't kick her that time.
All
You
right,
can't blame me.
third time is the charm. There's like that quote that's like, knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein wasn't the monster. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein
was the
was
real
the
monster all along. It's true. So here's
So
the
tell
thing.
us about
Which,
Darryl.
like, it's not wrong.
Yeah, so let me tell you guys about Darryls. So as you all
Tell
may
me
know,
about Darryls.
as you all may know, I am an English person. Well, I'm not an English
You have
person.
a degree in it.
I do. I have a degree in Longley,
Degrassi?
and I have a Degrassi.
Tim DeGraw?
I have a bachelor's Degrassi in English.
A Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I have a Neil deGrasse Tyson in English literature, and before I went to college to get my Neil deGrasse Tyson,
I hope he hears this and gets angry.
Me too. I was in high school,
Well,
unfortunately. And one of
Actually,
my only...
wait. Sorry, Evie. We maybe should spend more time on this podcast insulting Neil deGrasse Tyson and misrepresenting science. Because if he tweets this out, like, that's a lot of eyes on the
That's
podcast.
it. We've made it.
That's
That
true.
is-
That's true.
So
we'll
keep
we'll
going.
dedicate like a full 15 minutes at the end to slamming Neil deGrasse
How's
Tyson.
yours? Yeah.
So I was
Just
in
dunk it on him.
I was
And how we don't think leap
unfortunately
years are real.
I don't think leap years should be real, but that's an argument we can
Well,
have.
that's about. I mean, isn't that an argument against
So the
Julius
Earth goes
Caesar
around
and
the
not
sun,
against
and
Neil
every
deGrasse
4 years it
Tyson?
does it wrong.
Anyway, so I was in high school, unfortunately. But I did have
I'm
some
sorry.
pleasant experiences in high school, which included my AP English Literature class. And this class was great. Bunch of really funny kids in it. And we read Frankenstein in this class. And we all very quickly realized that because a lot of us were reading it for the first time. So we very quickly realized that the pop culture portrayal of Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein's creation, is
He's wrong
totally
because he's not made
unfair.
of corpses.
Well, not even just that, because he's definitely not. But when it comes down to it, the creature was kind and has this innate desire to learn
Well,
and
that
to be
was the
part of
impression
society.
I got of the monster from pop culture.
Right, but there are some things that portray him, slightly more accurately,
Bad
and there are
guy.
others
By
that
pop culture, do you mean just Young Frankenstein?
No, I don't mean just Young Frankenstein. But that is a great movie.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it is.
But in terms of it being a monster at all, he's not a monster. He's this kid who was given life and wanted to be part of a community and wanted to know people. He wanted to learn to read and write. He wanted to learn how to be part of a society, and he desperately wanted his creator to see him as a living creature. But because the creature was ugly, Victor turned his back on it immediately and cast it off as a monster, and it's heartbreaking. And we decided as a class that we didn't want to keep referring to this creature as the creature, the monster, the creation, because we thought, and we're all a bunch of bleeding hearts, and I know it's a character in a book, I know he's not real,
Yet.
but we all thought, this poor thing just wants to be acknowledged, it just wants to be loved, it just wants to be part of society, so we're going to give him a name. And we
Aw.
were really into spoonerisms. So we decided to name Frankenstein's monster Daryl's Chickens.
Mm.
So we were very seriously analyzing this text, only referring to Frankenstein's monster as Darls or Darl's chickens. We read it around Halloween. We had Halloween decorations around the classroom, and there was a cutout face of Frankenstein's monster that we stuck on a yardstick, and we put it in one of the empty desks in the room, and we kept it there like all year round. He was part of the class. We let him finally become part of a community.
That's exciting.
But so I still call Frankenstein's monster Darls. And I don't think
She
that's
did
ever
earlier without being prompted,
Yeah,
and I had to
on
stop
this
for a second.
podcast. And
No,
I
like,
was like,
earlier when we were talking about.
I was like, I don't remember a character named Darls, but even
Yeah.
know better than
We
I
were-
would.
Ben
So
and I were
Darls must
talking
be
about-
like one of I don't know, the police or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Ben
One
and I
of
were
the
talking about
police?
Frankenstein, and I just went, well, Darls really, didn't deserve
remember any songs by
the
the
treatment
Police.
that he got. And Ben and then I stop and I look horrified and I go,
Message
have
in
I
a Bottle's
explained
police,
the
right?
Darls situation?
If Chuck
Roxanne.
is short for Charles, does that mean Duck is short for Darls?
We
Well, it is now.
see,
I'm gonna call him
in
Duck.
my English class, we read the Metamorphosis.
Oh, I'm
I did
Nice.
fortunate.
that too. All it did
So-
was make me hate Kafka.
So my teacher was like, "So
That's fair.
what'd
Yeah,
you guys
that's
think?"
valid.
And we were all like, "Yeah,
Well,
Yeah, we
I
did.
remember
we did think. You're right."
in one of my history classes, and I don't know why, so don't ask me why, but our teacher had us read Lord of the Flies
Nice.
in
Lord
history.
of the Lies.
In history. So I don't know why we read this. But and this was not an English class, and we weren't
Well,
really
I mean,
in
you know that
English
Lord of the
class.
Flies is based on a true story, right?
No, I know, but
What?
we did no
Wait,
follow up.
hang on. Try that again. Take a few steps back, Evey.
I was playing along with the joke.
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like that's something that you can do when you're in comedy.
Oh, bye.
Can't work in these fucking conditions.
So we read Lord of the Flies, and
God, you didn't
The
even
teacher-
move on?
the teacher afterwards looks at this class of kids who just had to read Lord of the Flies for no good reason, looks at us and says, "What did you guys think?" And one kid goes, "That was fucked up." And the teacher goes, "Yeah, wasn't it?" And then moved on to the next unit.
Incredible.
That was it. We just
So that was
can't-
this
I can't
teacher's
figure this out.
version of like, today we're just gonna watch YouTube videos.
yeah, it was like a week.
But it was a week, and it was the
He spent the
Lord
whole
of the
week
Flies.
hungover.
Yeah, and then at the end we just learned about the Cold War like nothing had happened.
Incredible.
Like the next day
man.
we were talking about like nuclear arms races, and I hadn't.
Well,
God,
that's what happened in Lord of the Flies, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
they
Kinda,
had a
right?
nuclear bomb
Incredible.
And killed Piggy with
no,
it.
you're right. You're right. There was a nuclear arms race.
Here's what
in
I'm
Lord of the
thinking.
Flies.
Maybe there was like a page missing from like the lesson book, right? So it was
Oh my
like
God.
have them
Where he
read
was
Lord
going
of
to
the
have
Flies,
discussion.
and then there's a page in the middle that's like, relate this to like forming systems of government,
Oh
or
God. Because that could have at least.
or
made
like
sense.
conflict resolution or something like that, and then use that to lead into
Yeah.
the Cold
'Cause,
War.
like,
But
I've
that
had to
page
read,
was
like, The
missing, so it was like
Prince
have them read
before
Lord
in
of the Flies.
history.
And then he turned the page, and then it was like teach them about the Cold War, and he was like, "All right, you're the boss."
Yeah, it's like I guess
You're the
I'll
boss,
trust the
past
state
me.
on this one.
Incredible.
Oh God.
Well, that's his mistake, was trusting the state.
I
In any
Here's
regard.
the thing I will say, to jump back to Ben saying that reading the Metamorphosis made him hate Kafka. It's probably not a book that you should read in high school. It's
Like you gotta be
can't-
ready to undertake that kind of information.
Well, the kind of information was that Kafka thinks life is not worth living and that nobody loves any person for any reason.
I
It's just like-
agree.
No, that's not what it's about.
That's the moral. Is at the end he dies and they kick out the tenants they didn't need and then they start a get-rich-quick scheme. I don't.
God.
That just
It's-
sounds like the fucking American dream.
So,
They were Polish.
I don't care.
It wasn't written in English.
I don't respect people from Poland. I'm just
Hey.
kidding, Granny. Granny, if you hear this, I really didn't mean it.
I don't respect.
I don't know
Kafka.
that we should
respect you and
get
your
into
Polish
an
power.
analysis of the metamorphosis on this
No,
comedy
we should keep talking about the
podcast.
pop culture.
Um,
About the pop
for
culture
our
implications of France.
for our like you know for our two listeners, if you haven't read the Metamorphosis, it's
My
a
mom
For our
book.
two
Whatever
listeners
Blazer
and Neil
is.
deGrasse
It's
Tyson
and Neil
Yeah.
deGrasse Tyson has probably read the Metamorphosis.
Is number
right?
two.
and Phil Collins.
Phil Collins has definitely read
God,
the
it was
Metamorphosis.
Phil
kidding
Collins.
me?
I mean,
Phil
have you
Collins.
seen the Land of Confusion music video?
Phil Collins is 69 this year.
Phil
Oh,
Collins was
legend.
69 a
nice.
few days ago, and we did
Yeah.
not record.
We
Aw.
almost recorded and then we didn't.
Yo, happy
It's okay.
birthday,
But-
Phil
It's okay.
Collins. A shout out to
I
our
just
one
gotta
and only
say-
Late
sponsor.
happy
Luckily-
birthday to Phil Collins, our eternal sponsor.
I
yeah,
just gotta
luckily
say,
he's 69 this whole year.
nice.
So
Nice.
Dude, this is the year of Phil Collins, guys.
it is.
But anyway,
I
to
argue
briefly
that every year for the past 69 years has been the year of Phil Collins.
to
That's
briefly
true.
move back to the Metamorphosis, it's about this guy who wakes up one day and he's just like a stink bug. Probably.
I thought
He
he
might
was a
be a
giant
different kind
cockroach.
of bug. That part of it analyzing the text is figuring out what kind of insect he is.
I think that maybe that doesn't
what
matter quite so
metaphorical
much.
and allegorical implications that has on the rest of the text.
I
So,
can't wait to bring in an entomologist to figure out the metamorphosis.
An etymologist.
Yeah, no, it's
That too.
The study of
I,
words.
I liked it. I mean, like at the time I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. But then like years later when I read it again, I was like, oh, I get it now. I didn't get it then.
Interesting.
I read it and I got it and I
Well,
thought that it was
that's
bad.
like
Ben, it sounds like you didn't get it though.
my
Oh, I
middle
got it.
school.
No, it
my
sounds.
middle
We're not talking
school-
about this right now.
In 8th grade, my middle school English teacher had us read Much Ado About Nothing,
Nice.
which is a play about sex
You know,
Uh-huh.
and sex jokes
Arguably,
and having
all
sex.
Shakespeare plays are about sex.
Yes, but
Um,
a lot of Shakespeare plays have some other things that you can glean from the text. Like, Romeo and Juliet, definitely about sex, but also about like the trappings of love and the foolishness of it and why teenagers shouldn't be allowed to make long-term life decisions.
And how
like-
nobility sucks.
yeah, I think it's more
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like there are other things to be gleaned from the text. Much Ado About Nothing is a play about puns about sex. and
It's
talking
incredible.
about sex without saying that you're talking about sex. And I
And
read
sometimes
that
just
when
talking
I
about
was
sex.
Can I tell you?
12.
I don't really
It's my
like.
top 3.
I don't
it's
really
my
like
top
that
3.
play.
What?
I love
Well,
it.
Can I tell you why? Because it's.
I mean, you're gonna, so.
Yeah. The whole play. It's. It's not really about anything, and there's a whole lot
No,
of
it's not.
ado.
There is a lot
That's
to
why it's
do.
fun.
I was
I
about
was-
to kick
I
you
was-
again,
I
but
was
you're still
joking.
recording.
There is a lot ado.
I was joking, Jennica.
Oh god.
I just
Okay.
wanted to say that there was a lot of ado about nothing.
I guess
Well,
that Jennica
yeah.
gets really angry when you say you don't
What-
like specific
I
Shakespeare
love-
plays.
I'm
What
very
I
passionate
really,
about Shakespeare. It was my minor. Did you know this? I created my own minor so I could minor in Shakespeare.
God, I wish I
Nice.
did that.
I've read,
I feel so foolish for not having done that.
I think I have 4 or 5 more plays to go, and then I'll have read his entire works.
Nice.
I'm like living the dream.
I just
Much Ado
I
About
just wanna
Nothing's
say,
incredible.
Like, the biggest takeaway that a room full of screaming 12-year-olds took from Much Ado About Nothing is that the play has the word ass in it.
It does.
We're all like so excited because we did the thing where we read the play aloud and like
Uh-huh.
pseudo performed it in class. So we were all really excited that we were allowed to say ass while we were discussing and performing the play. That was
Yeah, it
like a
is
big
fun.
deal to us.
It reminds me of 12 Angry
Did-
Men in sophomore year of high school. Because that one
Nice.
has a hard R in it.
Aw,
Nice.
jeez.
And the white
Fucker.
kids in that room.
They said fucker, right?
Sure, let's go with
Yeah,
that.
instead of fucker.
Yeah, the white kids in that room full of white people were very, very happy about
Well, you're
that.
from Whitetaw, right?
Yikes.
I am from Whitetaw, yeah.
See, like, whenever
I didn't
we,
read that in school.
whenever we would read any,
Oh,
like,
we read
book,
Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah, we read
Gee.
Huck-Wild. But, like, whenever we read any book with a hard R in class, like, anytime that we were, like, supposed to be reading out loud, it was like, so, depending on, like, what, classroom it was, some of my classes were, like, 50-50, like, black, white. Some of them were, like, 70-30, whatever. But no matter what the breakdown was, even if there was one black kid in the class, it was all of the white kids turning to look at all of the black kids. And all of the black kids turning to look at all of the white kids. Just going like,
So
Subtle.
what are
I
we
went
supposed
to
to do here?
I went to a school that was predominantly not white.
Mhm.
Me too.
I am white.
Me
But,
too.
and my
disclaimer for
English
the
teacher that we read Huckleberry Finn with was also white.
Mhm.
And we were reading aloud. And he was reading, we were reading aloud, and he was doing the, like, general narration, and other people were reading, like, lines for characters and stuff.
Right.
And the first time it's said in the book, right, he says it, and then he pauses, and he goes, he pauses, and everyone's looking at him. The room is stunned silence. 'Cause everyone's like, wait a minute, he fucking said it, right? And so there's this pause, and it seemed a lot longer than it actually was. And he goes, "Don't worry, I have tenure. They can't fire me." Oh my god.
So, that's powerful.
That's how I remember it.
Incredible.
And then
So,
it was just fine. And then no one had any problem with it at all.
I had some teachers that, didn't want it said at all. I had some that were like, if you want to say it to preserve, like, the like, text as it is, or, to prevent, like, hiccups in reading, like, whatever, just know that, we're not condoning the usage of it, like, whatever. Every teacher had a different approach. One teacher had probably the most questionable approach that you can have, more questionable than just saying the N-word every time it came up in a text, which was definitely questionable. There was one teacher who decided that we would replace the N-word.
Was it with
In a
nuggets?
No.
I
no,
can't
Ben.
believe this. This is
No, Ben, it's worse.
This sounds terrible.
Much worse. So
I'm
she said,
scared.
we're going to replace the word
Oh no.
so that we're not saying a slur out loud in class.
Oh
But
no.
we're
Oh,
going
God.
to use the word to preserve, the meaning of the original word. So she
Oh, no.
suggests and maintains that we replace the N-word with the word slave.
Oh,
Oh
no.
my god.
And
I
just
beg your fucking pardon?
conflated.
Oh,
And just
what is here?
conflated the two.
What?
She just conflated them.
How old was this woman?
About 25.
Yikes.
So you're telling me
Yikes.
that in Huck Finn,
Oh,
some kid
no.
would be reading aloud and they'd be like, "What do you think, Slave Jim?"
Yup. Yes, and that is 100% what I remember. That is what happened.
Oh,
My father always said not to trust slaves, but you're all right.
Yup.
My God.
It
Stuff
didn't
like
matter.
that. I don't
It
think that's a
didn't
line
matter
from Huck
in the
Finn, by the
text.
way.
No. It didn't matter in the text either whether or not slavery had been abolished at the time that the text took place.
That's
Oh,
terrible.
no.
I
boy.
thought-
Oh,
Like
Oh,
when
boy.
you were like this teacher had a questionable approach. I thought you were gonna say something like the teacher only let black students say it.
Yeah, or like required that you say
Where
it.
it's
That's what
like-
I thought you were going to say.
Where yes, just something where it would be like,
Like, you have
okay,
to.
so now students on this page the N word is coming up. So student who is black, can you read this page, please?
my
Like
God.
that
Oh,
would
no.
be like, oh, that's a little weird,
It'd be
Like,
a little worse if they didn't say that was why, and they just kind of tried to
Just
put
trying to
under the
hide it.
radar.
All right,
Yeah, they
Evie, stop.
coincidentally
Evie, stop
picked a
right
black
there.
student
Evie,
each
stop.
page.
John, who is black, can you read the next page?
Mhm.
Do you like the little parentheses I included in that out loud sentence?
Oh, very good, very good. Because
Yikes.
I think
like
the
To Kill a
best way to
Mockingbird.
do it is to either skip over the word
That's what we
Or
did
just
in all of
say-
our classes. Yeah.
or just say N word.
Uh-huh.
You know, not the word itself, obviously. You know, there are ways to get around this and still be reading the text and understanding
I mean,
what the saying.
you could even
Without
I can't.
as the
Bleeding
teacher,
Hitler with the word slave.
you can be like, as the teacher, you can be like, listen, we're here in the year of our Lord 2011 or whenever it was, right?
Yeah.
You can say, and you know, a lot of people are offended by this word, so we're not going to say it here in this classroom. But when we, you know, when we get to that point in the text, know that that's what the character in the text said, and this is the context, and then tell them
Yeah.
the context of the time that the book came out and the time that the
Wouldn't
book is
that-
set and all that.
Wouldn't
So
that
you
have
can
been
just
such
you
a
can,
magnificent way to handle it?
like, you can just not have anyone say it in your classroom, but then also say like, but don't pretend it's not in there, because it is in there, right?
Mhm.
Like, isn't
It's
that
wild that
Like,
that
you're not gonna
wasn't
go
what
through each
happened.
copy of the book and black it out.
Yeah.
You're not gonna redact.
Although I
Huck
have
Finn.
heard of schools that have
That
actually done
absolutely
that.
has happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Huck
yeah.
Finn is banned in some schools because
They
it
just
has
ban
the
it, yeah.
N-word in it.
Yeah, that is true. It's a little
Wild.
buck wild, honestly.
It's
Oh,
Huck-Wild.
Yikes.
Okay, alright. Alright. Podcast is canceled, guys. It's all
That's
over.
it.
We
We're
gotta
done.
put the hard R on Huckers.
Enough.
Oh my
I
god.
feel like deeply uncomfortable knowing that most of the people in this cast are white.
Why?
Slave Barry Finn?
Most of the people in this country are white. So, like, statistically speaking, it makes sense that a lot of
Yikes.
the members of the
Let's
podcast
not.
are white.
This is bad.
I didn't say anything wrong. I said facts.
No, I just mean in terms of like the subject matter. It feels
I think we
a
handled
shame-
it very well.
No, I'm not saying we didn't. I'm just saying it feels a shame that there's not a person of color to weigh in on the topic. Is all.
I like
Yeah.
that we're having unintentionally a literature episode of Goblincast.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
Just, it was bound to happen.
I have
Yeah.
prepared a
figure out
topic.
what Digimon literature to bring up.
Does it
about
have to
this.
do with
No.
literature, Chris?
No.
No, it has to do with the exact opposite.
All right, hit
What
us
does
with
that
it.
If,
Oh,
if there
book
could be
burn.
an opposite.
Monster
I've got a
trucks?
picture. Close, actually.
Oh,
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
I would
Grave diggers. Sorry.
And Eddie, you may use this image or whatever you see fit. I would like to introduce you all to the
Oh,
Tac-Sac.
no, I'd rather not.
wait, everybody quiet down because I want Chris to say the name of this product again very clearly.
I would like to introduce you all to the Tac-Sac.
No.
The tactical sacticals.
Oh my god.
To
It's
a
like
more
truck
obviously
nuts.
heterosexual
I was
man
not-
than holding the pair of balls on your gun.
I was
Right,
not prepared.
That's not gay, bro. That's
No, it's not.
gay at all.
Well,
How
you
could
gotta
that be
say,
gay?
If anything, you're more straight because now you have more balls.
that's true. You have twice as many balls,
Yeah.
probably.
Well, you have a third
Homie.
again, because if you have that, you've got some
Homie.
on your truck.
Is it
Truck
gay to
nuts have
touch
a
your
hole.
own balls? Is it gay to hold your own balls?
Probably not.
Probably.
Well, it
Asking
depends
for
on
a
the
friend.
it depends on the context, right?
I mean,
Yeah, so
it's
is the
explicitly not
Tac-Sac
gay if the balls
your-
don't touch.
Is the Tac-Sac your balls?
Well, so it's
Or do
here's
they
the
count
thing.
as another
Using
entity's balls?
like
I need to know if it's gay to touch my truck nut.
It is
not if you
gay
keep
to
your
touch
socks
trucks,
on.
because the sexual.
Wait, are you telling me that
Only if it's
And
on the moon.
that if I, a man, have full sex with another man, if I keep my socks on, we're straight?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it ain't gay if
doesn't
you
count.
keep your socks on. Everybody knows that.
Oh, I think
This has.
I think I
this
picked a
has-
good icon for today.
Yeah, you did.
Is it the Tac-Sac? Are
No.
you changing it right now as
No,
we speak?
no.
I might. Well, I was going to segue into how
Chris.
this whole thing was part of a large trolling thing with the ATF. There was like a year-long campaign of trolling of just trying to get your local ATF agents to look at as many dildos as possible.
Incredible.
We
To the
this
point
was
where-
a literature
to the point
episode,
where
now
the-
it's very vulgar.
To the
Yeah.
point where the ATF actually sent out a letter saying that yes, you can use Tac-Sacs, and yes, if
Probably-
the buttstock, if you
I'd
put
like
a
to see
dildo
them try to
on the
stop me
bumper
from
tube
using
of
a
your AR,
Tac-Sac.
that counts as a stock.
It's
Okay.
I
Probably not
was about-
recommended.
I was about to get into some minutia here, and then realized what podcast we're doing.
Frankencastle live on the air.
Franken.
Frankenburger
Frankencastle.
live on the air.
I want to talk about something.
Welcome to
So,
Good Burger, home of the
Yes.
Good Burger.
there's this, there's this virus going around the Earth, the coronavirus.
Uh-huh.
Is it like flying?
The regular one.
The corona.
Is it going so far back beyond the? Is it
The-
going so fast around the Earth, opposite of the orbit, that it's turning back time, like Superman in that one movie?
The novel.
Kinda.
And Elmo.
novel.
Elmo
So-
Saves Christmas.
We should be specific.
Elmo and Elmo
So
saves Christmas.
there's the we
We
don't
should be
need to
specific.
be
The novel
we don't need to be
coronavirus.
specific because
We
that's
do,
this
though.
is just the context of my story.
Because coronaviruses are already everywhere and have been for a very, very long
But this
time.
is
Yeah, but
this
we
is
know
just
what
the
we're talking
context
about. So
of
does
my
our three
story.
listeners.
Do they?
Yes.
So the
Okay.
so
I would
the
think that Neil
the,
deGrasse
the
Tyson is smart enough for
coronavirus
that.
is going around town. And so I've been seeing on my social medias and news feeds and stuff a lot of references to the WHO, the World Health Organization.
The
But
Who?
I always read it as the WHO, right?
I'm really upset.
And
Yeah.
sometimes
Tommy's the Who. Yeah.
and sometimes it takes me a few seconds to realize what I'm reading is not talking about the British rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, something about the Who, and it's like the Who recommends, and I'm like,
And I'm
what?
like, I
Wait,
better listen. I trust these men.
wait, what?
Well, Eddie, you know,
Half
Nobody
of them are
knows
dead,
what it's
so
like.
half of the Who recommends. So the Who recommends that you wear a face.
The Ho recommends, you mean?
The Ho
the
is
what?
recommending handily that
The
you
Woo,
wash your hands.
the Whoa.
Whoa.
So the coronavirus, the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak, has had some interesting like trickle down ramifications in the world.
Racist.
Well,
racism.
yeah. One, I mean, obviously the racism.
It's real
the,
bad here.
The
tell you
alarmism.
Evey,
Well, yeah, because you guys
listen,
have a really
I-
large Asian
Right.
population, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to
Evey,
say,
I don't believe in trickle down
and we're also,
virus
like-
economics. I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
viruses trickle down
Um,
like you're saying they do.
Yeah, they definitely don't, but the ramifications do. But
Yeah.
so the thing is like as was mentioned, you know, coronavirus as a, you know, type of virus,
I'm
That
just
is
having
in
all sort of audio
existence.
goofs tonight.
you
They
know,
found it in the
existence.
1960s.
Right. So there is a vaccination for dogs for coronavirus.
Are you planning to give people a shot for dogs?
No. Listen.
What do you want
this
them to get?
vac-
Dog autism?
This yeah.
Now they're gonna
yeah,
be autistic and chasing their
dog,
tails.
Dog autism is like a huge problem. And I think if we just gave our dogs essential oils, we could fix all of these problems.
Yeah, if we just
Um,
gave them essential oils and their fucking gluten-free natural fiber
Well, they
baby
just have to.
toys.
You just
I
have
did
to
see-
mix a
They'd be
little.
fine!
You just have to
Guys,
so
mix a
this
little
vaccine-
turmeric into your water.
I did see
Guys,
a
you're
fucking.
alienating the anti-vaxxers. Keep going.
No, hold on. I
Good.
did see an anti-vax post on that someone had like screenshotted,
Oh,
and it was literally just
I know
like
what you're talking.
maybe we should stop instead of like giving our
Instead
children
of
all these
injecting
chemicals.
toxins,
Maybe we should just give them a little bit of the virus so they build up an immunity to it. And I was
It's
like,
like anti-vaxxers
lost my
have
mind.
gone so full
So
circle
far
that they've
around.
invented vaccines.
it's incredible and also horrifying.
So this coronavirus vaccine is not something that is commonly recommended for dogs. It's not part of the core vaccines, right? But
Why?
since-
You want your dog to get coronavirus?
Yeah. Since the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak, other vet clinics have been capitalizing on this and offering the coronavirus vaccine, which seems like a smart move, except I'm pretty sure that it doesn't actually protect against this strain.
No. Why
So
would
it's
it?
like a blatant cash grab. And
Yeah.
it's like really upsetting to see because we keep getting like,
I
records
almost
sent
jumped in
over
and
from
said,
other vets.
or maybe they're
like,
dumb. But then I was like, wait a minute.
They
Well, 'cause
Multiple
that's what
doctors
I-
probably
literally
live
medical
there.
professionals.
Yeah, I was like, multiple doctors probably work there. I think I said live a second ago.
Live.
There's got to be at least one of them that isn't dumb, right? Like,
Did you know
Right.
there's a staircase under every teacher's desk that goes down to their personal bedroom in the school?
yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, like so we kept seeing, and maybe this information is different, from what I've seen, but we kept seeing records come through from other vets saying the dogs, were getting the canine coronavirus vaccine. And so we thought, when we asked one of the doctors on staff here, and we said, "So, is that going to do anything?" And she goes, "No, probably not."
I'm not sure that the novel coronavirus, which is the formerly Wuhan, which we changed, is transmittable to dogs.
No, I don't believe
don't
so either.
think
I don't
it
think
is.
I don't
I
think
have
it's
no idea. I just wanted
Yeah,
to
I
make a
don't
joke
think so.
about the
And,
Who.
like, I definitely
Also-
don't want to discourage people
What are you, some
from
kind of
getting a
paperback writer?
vaccine for them or their animals as a
I'm just gonna keep
precaution.
going.
Sure.
But I just am not
Son of a bitch,
pleased
that was the
with
Beatles.
the cash grab, and I'm not pleased with the alarmism surrounding
No.
coronavirus.
No, there's no need for it either.
And I know
It's
that
not
this is a
nearly
comedy
as-
Rolling Stone
podcast.
song in
It makes me really angry. It's not
In
nearly as
retaliation, but
deadly
I
as the
can't.
flu.
Yeah, I
Like,
know that
your
this
regular
is a
old
comedy
flu.
podcast, but I just want to do a quick
But
PSA.
guys, I'm
Wash
immune to
your
the
hands.
flu.
Me too. Wash your
What?
hands. Wear a mask if you're out in like a really, crowded public place and you're concerned. But what it really comes down to is get vaccines, wash your hands.
Listen,
And,
Yeah.
like, keep
Evie,
yourself-
also,
I'd be caught dead
like-
before you found me wearing a mask in public.
Unless you have been to China recently, one of the infected areas of China, or are in close personal contact with someone who has recently come back from
Mhm.
there,
And-
you have no chance of getting it.
And
It's not
even if you do
magic.
contract the virus, if you are a relatively young, relatively healthy person, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
If
Until
you
you die.
are older,
No.
or if you
No.
are younger, or if you have close contact with very
Yeah.
young kids, you may want to consider taking the extra precaution of doing something like wearing a mask
Sure.
if you live somewhere where there's a high amount of people, coming in from other countries that may be carrying this disease. Take
Yeah.
those precautions, but, you're not going to die from it unless you're immunocompromised,
Yeah.
very
Take
elderly,
the same.
already
Well,
Take the
sick,
same.
or a child.
Luckily for me,
Yeah.
I don't live in one of the biggest cities in the world. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just remember,
But just
the
take
more
the
you
same
panic before
precautions you
die,
do with the
harder
flu.
it makes them to
Yeah.
harvest their organs.
I just wanted to do a little quick, just thought we could do a little quick PSA.
Yeah.
We can go back to comedy.
For
And
For
also
Ben's
stop being
mom?
I'm
racist.
sorry that you have to listen to this as our only true fan.
well, that's what
I
I was.
also
I don't know
That's
who
what I
you
was
are.
saying.
Please
Was
tell
like
us.
we're giving
They're
the
just
PSA to
such
Ben's
bad
mom.
jokes.
Okay, well, now she knows. If
I
she
tried
didn't
to
already.
call out to our only other fan, who none of us know the identity of.
Blazer
A bunch.
laser.
Yeah,
Blazer
Blazer
Phil
Laser.
Collins.
Thanks,
idea who
thanks
this
for
person
listening,
is.
Blaze.
I gave their comment a like on YouTube.
Blazer laser. Thanks
If
for
you're
listening,
out there.
man.
If you're real.
They liked the
Somewhere
Phil
I hope
Collins
it's not a-
bit.
out there. beneath
I really thought you were
the
gonna go. I really thought you were gonna go into
video.
Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
No.
I saw that show again recently, and it's really poorly written.
Which
It's a
show?
horrible show. The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Okay,
As an
you're
onstage
talking about
musical.
not the movie. Okay.
Yeah,
I
the
wish-
movie's great. The
I wish I
onstage
could see
musical
it on
is
a stage.
boring.
Hey, can somebody take me? This is just like this is just a request of the audience.
To be
Anyone who wants-
kidnapped? Can somebody
anyone-
take me?
Her address is.
She's been.
She works at.
Just anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your intentions are. As long as you don't
Oh.
try to get me to a secondary
Oh.
location. As long as you don't try to get me to a secondary location, we're gonna be fine. Just take me to see a show on Broadway. Just take me
That's
to
the
see a
secondary
musical.
location.
fun.
You've
I don't care
fallen
which one.
into the
No.
trap.
No, that's the location. I will meet you there.
Let's
We will
go.
go nowhere else. Okay? I want to see a show.
Do you care
I don't
which
even
show?
care. I obviously have some preferences, but
I'm
at
gonna
this
take
point,
you to the street Broadway, and I'm gonna put a TV in front of you, and I'm gonna
You-
play the Muppet Show.
Why?
know that that's not what I mean.
Evie, there's this thing. Alyssa and I have been to a couple shows, but there's this thing that we got as a gift for our engagement called Broadway Roulette.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, where it's less expensive than buying tickets
I know about
to a
this.
Broadway show.
Yes.
And what it is you say what date you want to go and like what times, like a general area of what times work for you,
Mhm.
right? And then I think you don't find out till like the day before or the day of, but then you get tickets to a Broadway show.
Yeah.
And it's random.
It's how they sell their like extra seats day of
Oh wow.
that they're not
How
going to
many
make as
bad
much money
shows have
on.
you seen with that, Eddie?
Well, we only got one of it as a gift, and the show we saw was
okay.
pretty good.
What'd you see? wanna
It
know.
was what was it called? It was The Prom. It was a musical
Okay.
about a prom.
That's a pretty good one.
Because like obviously I want to see some of like the big ticket things. Like if I don't get to see
Oh.
Les Mis on stage at least one point before I die, I'll die.
That's fair.
True. That's accurate.
But I would like the experience very
I've seen
much.
The Lion King
It's a
twice.
shame you missed SpongeBob. My friend, I could have
Yeah.
gotten you tickets to that. My roommate was in it. She was the dance captain.
Whoa.
Again.
Of Bikini Bottom?
Yes. Of
My
Bikini Bottom.
college roommate was in PJ Masks Live, but I was not interested
Oh.
in that so very much.
No.
What is PJ
No, like-
Masks Live?
You don't worry about it.
It kind of
That's a
sounds like a
great
sex
joke.
thing.
No, it's like a children's show.
It's a
Oh.
children's
like a
show.
children's like cartoon or
Animated
something.
Sorry,
show.
And
They were trying to
On
compete with
Nickelodeon, I
Seussical the
think.
musical.
What?
What?
They were trying to compete with Seussical the musical.
I
Ew.
guess so.
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
It's
say
the only
compete.
children's show.
I wouldn't say compete so much as they thought
There's a
this
Shrek
has
musical
happened.
and a
There
Frozen
have been
musical.
children's shows.
Shrek the.
And
I've
they
been
will
in
do
the
that
Shrek
No,
with
but I'm
Seussical
saying,
on
Hello.
I'm saying, Ben, there's other children musicals. There's a
Nope.
Horton
Yeah.
Hears
Yeah.
a Who musical.
That's
That's Seussical.
There's
Hey-
also
hey, Eddie?
there's also
What's
like
that's
a
Seussical.
Oh, it is? That Seussical's about Horton Hears a Who?
but
It's
there's
Dr.
also like
Seuss books. It's
precedent
Seussical
for
the
there
musical.
being like stage performances for like children's shows.
Well, I'll,
Like
I'll
that-
tell you,
that
Ben, I've
happens.
never seen Seussical or Horton Hears a Who, the musical. So,
Well,
if they're the
Horton
same
Hears a
Seen
thing,
one,
Musical.
you would have seen the other.
I wouldn't
Horton
know.
Hears a Whoosicle.
It's a pretty
That's
good
all I
show.
have.
Horton Hears a Whoosicle.
That's all I have to contribute. Somebody take me to see Les Mis before I die.
Okay. You
I don't know,
come
according
to
the ending
California.
of Les
I'll
Mis,
show you
have
my
to see Les
Les
Mis
Mis.
when you die.
What?
According to the ending of Les Mis, you have to see Les Mis when you die.
That's I can't
Because
wait.
the afterlife is a bunch of people singing.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right. I
Les
can't
Mis.
wait. I can't wait. Let me open my window. Hold on.
It's not a high enough drop.
Dang it. It is if I land on my head.
Guys, you know what I love? The Les
What?
Mis film.
Do
Me
you?
too.
Why?
No,
I
I
really
was
like
lying.
how-
It's really not good.
It's horrid.
Oh, I'm really okay. I'm sad now.
I
Oh,
could not sit
I
through
feel
it.
like
And
I
then-
got duped into saying that I like this thing, and it turns out that everybody
And then-
hates it.
And then they let that
Well,
guy
on that
who
note,
made
let's
that.
talk
It's okay.
about,
It's okay.
I
you
They
thought
don't
let
I
like
that
was
guy
being
who made
agreed
that
with.
abomination of a film make
Uh-huh.
the Cats movie.
I
Oh,
thought
God.
that I was being agreed with, and
Um,
I feel so
And the
hurt.
Cats movie is kind
I'm
of
so
like
sorry,
the
Evey.
Frankenstein's monster of movies. Yeah, we brought it back around.
I
No.
really
Movie
liked. I
scares
really
me.
liked the Les Mis film,
Oh,
like a lot.
She
but you
doesn't-
haven't seen it.
Okay.
Okay,
She doesn't have a
but
musical to
Evie,
compare it to.
you've never seen it live.
That's
So
true.
you have nothing to
Yeah.
compare it to.
Yeah.
So you don't
I
know
still
yet.
like
It's
it
fine.
though,
Okay,
You don't know
but
what
we'll
you
see.
got till it's gone.
or till you got it.
Or till you, yeah, I guess that's.
You probably don't
You
know.
don't know what you don't have till you do have
So
it.
speaking of things that I love that are universally
Every
hated,
rose has its thorn. What?
What is?
yeah, I
Wait.
hate Guns N' Roses. No, speaking of things that I love that are
Wait,
universally
do you really
hated,
hate Guns N'
Uh-huh.
Roses?
So we're gonna
no,
talk
God, I
about
love Guns N'
poison?
Roses. I love
It
Guns
is-
N'
talk
Roses.
yeah, it
about
is
me now?
poison.
Is that what's happening?
You're right. You're right.
This is
it
anarchy.
Guns
in
N'
Guns
the
N'
Roses
UK.
covered it, didn't they?
Guns N' Roses and thorns.
Guns N' Roses with thorns.
Okay, we're done talking about 80s rock. It's done now.
And the
Um,
thorns are
It
poison.
never will be.
I think
Enough.
Ben wanted to talk about. I think Ben wanted me to talk about Blade Runner.
I did. I tried so hard.
I've been trying to say
Raid Blunner.
I did not like Blade
By
Runner.
Darl's Chickens.
That's
By
perfectly
Darl's
correct
Chickens,
of
yeah.
you.
Number 1
Now-
or the new one.
I'm going to
Neither.
say
Dilip
something.
K. Thick.
Guys, this
I'm
is a
gonna-
moment where I wish that we had like an actual audience so that I could ask them to make a Photoshop of Raid Blunner by Darl's Chickens and send that to me. But they don't
Did you just
exist.
spoonerize all of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Like the whole, like
The whole title.
that's.
She's
Well, I guess I
trying.
can because it's 6 words.
She's trying.
2 of them
But
are
it's
D's.
got vowels.
so
There's
it's tough,
vowels. in
yeah.
there. So the vowels are what's making it hard.
It's
Because there's 2
difficult.
vowels at the start of the word.
Mhm.
I can't do this
Anyway,
right
so-
now.
So
I'm
me
so
and you
hungry.
watched Blade Runner one night.
Because we have to talk about why. I was
Okay.
sad, and Blade Runner is, and this may make some people go feral when this phrase comes out of my mouth. Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies.
To my knowledge, Blade Runner is your favorite movie.
No, Donnie Darko is my
Wow.
favorite movie.
Okay.
I'm really
I'll
glad that we
I'll
didn't
go
watch
ahead.
Donnie Darko that
Yeah,
night.
no.
Donnie Darko
I'll-
is a really
like,
enjoyable film.
I'll go
We're
ahead
gonna
and
move
out
past
myself
that.
and let everybody know
Ben
that Donnie
doesn't
Darko
like
is my favorite
Donald
film.
Darko.
We're gonna
Donald
move past that.
Darkin. But so Ben offered, because I was deeply sad, to watch Blade Runner, knowing that it is one of my most favorite films.
And I had not
Yes.
seen it at that point.
He'd never seen it
Oh.
before. So
no.
he
Wait,
had
which version did you watch?
The final cut.
Oh, okay.
so he
There are
he
3.
had some
Oh, I know.
he had some expectations
Oh no.
leading
My
into this
expectations
film.
going in were this is a widely
it would be
beloved
a
cult
film.
classic sci-fi film.
Yep.
And I sat down to watch that film. And boy, is it a bad fucking film.
And I do feel the need to defend myself
Yeah.
here, because here's what I'm gonna say. Here is why I like Blade Runner. I like
Okay.
Blade Runner because of how bad it is, but because of also how seriously it takes itself. I think it's hysterical, but I also think that it does a lot of really good things for the genre.
So like the things that, and this is what I gathered from watching Blade Runner that one time not too long ago. The things that Blade Runner did is it established a very chaotic sci-fi world. You never forget like where you are and what's happening and how it is not the present.
The visuals are really cool.
Yes, but also what it did is it went to every prop warehouse and petting zoo within a 50-mile radius and
They
said,
just grabbed
"What do you got?"
everything.
they walked in, they slammed
They
a
just
blank
filled
check on the
box
counter, and they
trucks
said,
with
"What do you got?"
random minutiae.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so that's the visuals of Blade Runner. Outside of all the scenes that matter,
It's all phenomenally dark. For no, like physically
visually,
dark.
yes, it is visually dark all the time. There
can't
is no sun in this city, and I don't know if they were trying to convey that it's always smoggy and raining, but what they
Yes.
did was they filmed at night.
Yep.
All the time. Always at night in the rain. It is always at night in the rain.
And they kept being like, we're going to bring up the moral quandary of creating human life, bringing it back to Frankenstein, of creating human intelligent life and
Mhm.
then treating it as an other.
Because
And
that
then
is
they
what
never
the book
did.
did. Right. They kept
They
suggesting,
said, we are going to bring up the moral quandary of playing God.
and
And
this
then
is
they
why
didn't.
This is why I love
And then
Blade
somebody
Runner so
died on
much.
screen, and they reset the movie.
Like, this is what I love about Blade Runner so much, because I think it's one of the only movies that tells you it's going to give you a moral and then
then
refuses
doesn't. It just
to.
over
It
and over, like,
dangles.
here's the moral that we're
dangles
going to show
point-
in this film, and then they don't, and then it changes scenes.
It dangles its point in front of you for the entire film like a carrot on a stick in front of a pig, and you just keep chasing it until you get to the end, and Roy Batty releases a white dove from his hands, and you have no
He
fucking
grabs
clue.
randomly off a roof,
You have
jumps
no
to another roof, and you
clue what
forget
is
it's
happening.
there.
And the book is brilliant, but the movie it's chasing that high, and it could catch it if it wanted to, but it doesn't. Because
So
I think,
easily.
because I think that the people who made the film, I think they knew that they couldn't do it right. I think they knew. So they just keep pretending that they're gonna make a point.
And it's just, I've never
I
seen a
love
film
it.
be so overt about its own message and then
And
not
then refuse
hit
to
the
tell you the
message.
message. It's very
hey,
heavy-handedly telling you
Dan,
nothing.
I have a question for you. How could
Okay.
it be overtly telling you the message if it's not telling you the message?
It is
No,
overtly...
it's overtly telling you that it's
That it
going to
has
tell
Going
you
to tell you,
something.
yeah. Yikes.
It's
such a
telling
bad
you
movie.
that it's
I don't
going
agree
to
with
tell you
that read
something.
of the film, I guess.
Then you should rewatch it, preferably with me there. Because while I don't particularly want to watch Blade Runner again, I really do want to talk
Listening.
more about it with
Ben,
someone
have
who
we
has a
ever
differing
like
opinion.
watched a movie together?
Listening to Ben watch
Yes.
Blade Runner for the first
What?
time is a treat that no one else will ever get to
And
experience.
me and you have watched a lot of movies together.
No. Like we've watched movies, but like you know, all right.
No, we haven't been in a film class together.
No.
I don't-
No. Have you and I ever like watched a movie, right? And like analyze like it?
I mean, we
and
tried to after the
discussed
Lego
it
movie too.
With what? Oh, that was so bad, dude.
Well, see, I disagreed because I thought that it was a fairly competent, rather fun film that just wasn't really for us.
It was so fucking bad, dude.
See, and this is why. This is why.
It was a really bad movie.
I didn't think it was. I thought that it tried a bit too hard to be the first one, but that it was not a particularly awful film.
I
Does
like
it
Star
Really
Wars
hit the
Episode
notes on
1.
The first one that it tried to. It was a
Interesting.
more young,
Like a lot.
young
Like, I really like
Interesting.
it.
No, but Ben, just because something
It's okay, I
has
like Green
children as the
Lantern, so
target
it's fine.
demographic doesn't mean that it gives it
Oh, I got
license to
something.
have a plot that doesn't make any sense or have any logical consistency.
It made perfect sense to me and flowed from one plot point to another with no problems.
I disagree.
I
And
can't
that's
believe
the crux of the
I
argument.
said that I loved Star Wars
But
Episode
it's been
1, and it
when
didn't
whenever
even,
the
I
Lego
didn't even
Movie
get any
2
I heard
released,
you.
it's been
No,
that
no, no,
long
no,
since
no.
I've
Okay.
seen
The
it.
Lego movie.
Oh, no,
So I
I
can't
know.
go in depth with this on you right now, Ben.
I just expected it to derail Eddy a little bit.
No,
it's okay.
it didn't
I
at all.
expected Green Lantern to do
have
that and didn't,
I think
so it's
I've
fine.
stated this on the podcast before, but maybe I haven't. I have softened on the prequels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know what
Interesting.
you've got till it's gone.
You don't know what you got till it's gone. Is exactly the
You
phrasing
don't know what
I
you've got
used.
until Luke Skywalker actually says the phrase laser sword.
What?
Because
It's upsetting.
it's pretty upsetting. We're not going to get into this on the podcast. There
Not
is
we
tonight.
have 2
like,
hours of me and Eddy talking
there is
about
like a
it.
2-hour bonus episode that exists of Ben and I complaining about Star
Is it
Wars that I was
still 2
supposed
hours
to
long?
release.
one?
Well, dude,
The
it's,
newest
the
ones?
recording is like 2.5 hours long.
Wait, which Star Wars? I
the
don't know
sequel
which one it is.
trilogy.
Okay, good, because I thought that it was shit also.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
we're not.
I
we're
was
not getting
supposed
into
to
that.
release it last week, at time of recording. I guess 2 weeks ago at time of release, and I didn't. Sorry.
You have.
It just be like
excuses.
that.
We're
It's
not worried
okay.
About it, man.
Yeah. Well, I was apologizing to our
Laser
listeners.
Our listener.
Yeah. To Blazer
there's at least 2
Laser
of
and
them.
Ben's mom.
Yeah. See, 2.
Incredible.
But
I mean, one of my
I will
coworkers
leave it
is like
at
halfway
new
through
Star
episode
Wars
1.
bad.
Yeah.
You know what was good?
What?
Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2005.
So good.
Oh my
dude.
god.
You know what else
Just
was
like
good?
the simulations.
You know what else was good?
What?
Digimon World 3 that Eddy still
Okay.
hasn't given me.
Oh my god.
He was at my house.
I don't have it.
Well, you should fix that.
I like that Ben really does just want Eddy to like materialize this game. He wants Eddy to like snap his fingers in the game to like appear in like a beam of light from the sky.
Yeah. So many
I also
people want that.
Anybody to buy me Digimon World 4.
It's somewhere in the attic above my mother's garage.
You know, I have tracked down
Probably.
one thing on eBay for you, and I will never do it again.
Well, Ben bought Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2 on eBay so that we could
He
play
did.
it, and that was a
He did.
great time.
It
I
was a
got
great time.
Ben
You've gotta
what
come over
I
so we can
think-
finish that.
We
that
gotta
game of
finish Galactic Conquest. We were conquesting the galaxy, listeners.
We were doing pretty well.
We were doing
we
great.
were
We
way
did
better than I
lose
Yeah.
one
when I was
fight
10.
on Mustafar. Because what we found out is that Mustafar is a map of very narrow hallways, and all the NPCs in our team fucking killed each other.
And us.
Oh.
And so, like, we were playing, and we were like,
stood
this
in
is
the
going
hallway, not
okay. And then we
shooting,
looked
and
up
then
at the
an enemy
score
came up
counter,
and
and it was
died.
like, oh, we're losing by a lot.
So
Oh.
I left the house before Eddy arrived because I had to go pick up Mike from the train station. We arrived back in the house. I went downstairs, and I'm looking at these boys while playing their video game, and I said, "Is there friendly fire?" And not a minute later, Ben kills Eddy.
Look, man, you don't run in front of a live gun. I don't.
Incredible.
Listen, we
Don't
were
be
clones,
like your friends.
which are basically not people, so it's okay.
God.
Oh,
Yikes.
We talked
Oh.
about that last episode, right? How
Did
clones
we? I have
aren't
no
people.
idea.
I don't think we did, but I don't know
Well,
that we
here's
have
the question,
to.
right? If now grant me this premise just for the hypothetical, okay? If
Uh-huh.
clones aren't people, is Frankenstein's monster people?
Frankenstein's monster is not
It's
a
not a
clone.
clone.
I know it's not a clone.
I would like to posit a counterpoint.
I'm going to eat a candy.
I think
Okay.
Thanks.
clones.
Don't
are
do it in your
people,
fucking mic. Are you
singular.
insane?
I'm not making any sound right now.
We sure could fucking
I
hear
wanna
that.
kill it.
What are you
I
doing?
can't
do
do
what?
anything.
So go on, Chris.
Discord tells me when I have sound coming out. There's no sound happening from my candy.
I think clones is person. As a unit, I think all clones should be considered one person.
Yikes.
Oh, so it's like the 3/5 compromise. But
Yeah.
But what if
one.
no?
Yikes.
It's
But
the
what if
single
they're-
clone compromise.
Wait, are you talking about clones of the same person?
Do
Yeah.
we want to? Okay, never mind.
Well, what if
Yikes.
Like-
it's clones of like 4 different people? Are
Well,
those
then-
all considered one person,
Well,
or are
but
they
they are
four?
all
No, those are
clones of one
considered 4 different
person.
people.
What?
Wait, now here's a question I have,
Mm.
Chris. Okay, so say we have 100 clones of the same person. That's one person, right?
That is, they are all the same person.
Is
one
that person separate from the original person? Like,
Nope.
is it now 2 people?
Well,
Nope, all one
wait,
person.
but how does consciousness work? Like,
Hmm.
like if you have a clone of
I didn't want to
you-
get this deep into it. I was trying to make a goof.
Twins
but
aren't
we
the
I really
same
want to.
people.
We deep
I
now.
disagree.
If
If
I-
you are,
Twins
if
are
you are
not the-
cloning someone one for one, as they
Uh-huh.
do in Star Wars,
What was that
Well,
Schwarzenegger film?
animals-
you are going to have identical synapses and an identical overall structure of
That's not
everything.
true, actually, because
That
we
is
can
true.
clone things. We can clone things in real life, like, and there are
Yeah,
animals
we can-
that can
we can
reproduce
Grow things in another
asexually
animal.
and
There's
no,
the
no, no,
sixth
no,
day.
no. There are animals that can reproduce asexually, and they produce a perfect clone of themselves, but it is a different
It's a
individual.
perfect genetic clone. It's not a perfect clone.
Right.
That
Clones
is a
in Star
clone.
Wars are
So you're
perfect
saying
clones.
turning an adult
Are
into
one
an
for
adult.
one. Yeah, they are one
So
for
not growing from a baby, which is what.
Well, it's
Okay.
the difference between like making a twin and making a copy.
Right. Because I was gonna say, if you like clone somebody and they still have to grow up from a baby, those are not.
That's just a child.
Those are 2 different people.
Right? Yeah, because then
Do
I
you
guess
see what
the
I'm saying?
experiences.
Versus
Yeah.
like
But then,
being
like-
an adult and then
But,
here
um,
comes another adult who stepped out of a
mhm.
magic tube
Yeah.
and become.
But like, do
Like
like
Arnold
we have, like, a
Schwarzenegger in
canon,
The Sixth Day.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Do we have like a cat? Like, is there like any like, do clones actually have the same thoughts as the person that they're cloned from.
Well,
'Cause I
according
don't
to
think
The
they do. I
Sixth
think they
Day,
act
starring Arnold
independently.
Schwarzenegger, yes.
Okay, guys.
Okay,
I
but
need to.
I
I
think
need
it's
to
Star
veer
Wars.
us.
I think
once,
they
and I
act
will not let it go.
I need to veer us slightly off course for a moment.
Okay.
So, in sci-fi, when people teleport, like teleporters, like
God,
technological
we're getting into
teleporters,
this.
that's
Yes.
cloning, and it's terrifying, and nobody ever
I
talks
think about that
it
literally all the time.
all the time.
I'm
It's not
rewatching-
you.
I'm
It's
rewatching
not.
Crazy
It's not you.
Adams at
You don't
the-
come out the other side of the teleporter.
I was
Every
rewatching-
There is no
time
other side
I
of the
watch,
teleporter.
No
every time I
fucking
watch
joke.
Star Trek and I look at the teleporters, I'm
Yes.
filled with horror.
I'm literally
I'm
rewatching
filled with
Star
terror.
Trek Voyager right now.
Nobody
because I
ever
love it.
talks about this. It's fucked
And I was
up.
thinking about the fact that, like, yes, their energy transfers and their consciousness
Yeah,
or whatever,
but
but
you're
their
like
matter
fully like
definitely doesn't.
dematerialized.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
You
have to pull
define
the
a person
matter.
Like,
by
your
their
matter is
define a person by their
recreated.
mind. Isn't that exactly what we're talking about? in
Your
regards to
matter
clones?
is recreated
But
at the
Your
destination.
mind is only your matter, baby. You could say
Right,
mind
like,
over
it's-
matter.
it's-
It's not. That's not.
If
how
you don't
mind
mad,
really works.
it don't
Hey,
matter.
hey, Jennica?
This posits existence of a
Hey.
soul that is not made of matter.
Okay.
It has
Star Trek
to.
Also
Yeah.
said that you are fully conscious the whole time you're being transported.
Oh, I
Yes.
don't like
So-
that.
That is
also, you're
true.
in some like
Although-
weird
So-
subspace
It's
during that
usually
time.
considered that you don't. You have like vague senses. It's not like you see things. It's like vague, like glitter. Because there's a whole episode where somebody sees something in a transporter and they're like, "Oh shit, you've gone nuts. You're crazy." I know. Listen.
Oh,
I know every
stunned.
episode of Star Trek.
By
I
heart.
believe
Here we
you.
go.
Recite
I love
season
Star
3,
Trek.
episode 6.
Fuck you, Ben.
Oh my
She
god!
doesn't
Wait,
know
I
it.
just looked it up. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's actually the first
Did you
line
fucking
said in
think
the
I was
episode.
kidding?
That's the
What
title
the
of the
fuck
episode.
did you just say about me, you little bitch?
I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs.
I
What
participated in
what
numerous.
the Huck Finn did
I
you
love
just
Star
say
Trek.
about me?
And I am an expert in guerrilla warfare.
Now slave jam. Don't
well,
you
I
be
think
getting
that's how long
rowdy
have we
on
been
me.
recording
Oh
for?
no.
Oh, long
A long
enough.
time.
Yeah, so I think that's a good place to
forever.
end it off.
Oh yeah.
You know what they say in
Snap
Milwaukee.
into a slave.
I didn't get to
jam.
ask my question. I brought a question. Here, we can
Oh,
leave
what
it,
is-
and you guys just won't answer.
Okay.
It's great. You
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Is lava wet?
No.
We've already been over this.
No.
That's
I
an
wanna
easy
know.
one. That's not even
That's
a
not
debate.
really
No.
though. It is.
It is.
I
It is
think
not
it
wet.
is. You
It's
guys
not
are
wet.
Something can
fun.
be no
The-
because wet.
Wet doesn't
mean
means
liquid.
that something has water on it.
Yeah,
Is
wet.
that
It is
what it
covered in
means?
water.
Yes.
Is that what it means?
Yes.
Is something covered in oil not wet?
No,
I
it's
would
No,
say
oily.
oil.
it's slick.
It's oily.
Ew. Wait.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
Hey, slick. How you doing?
No, if something is
That's
covered
right
in
up there with
oil, I would
moist.
not describe it as wet.
Ugh.
Especially
Slick
because
is-
oil is a viscous substance.
Slick is the most disgusting
Oil's
word
like
I've ever heard.
anti-water.
Greasy is also a
literally
good one.
anti-water.
Is slick worse than moist?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't
about
mind the
ointment?
word moist, but a lot of people do.
I don't get.
I
don't
like the
it.
word moist, and for a very specific reason. It's in a subset of words that I absolutely adore, and it's
I'm gonna have
words that
to say the
sound
ending again.
They have a.
they sound exactly like what they are.
Yep, I think
word
that's why people
moist-
don't like moist because it makes them
Just
feel moist.
sounds
It makes
and
them
same with
feel
slick.
But moist-
instead of just calling
Slick
moist.
sounds slick.
But moist can be a good thing. Like cakes.
Yeah.
You want cakes to be moist?
No,
I thought
some
you were gonna
people-
go somewhere entirely different.
Like when you say the word moist, some people,
Uh-huh.
maybe some people listening to this podcast right now, they go, Ugh.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I
because
think
they
you know
think of like being in a drizzle
cake-
and it's like
a
soaked through
cake
your
should be-
clothes
a
and you're
cake
moist.
should be moist. A brownie
Mhm.
should be moist, and I should be.
Mm.
moist.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Okay,
Nobody
that's it. We're done.
wants to be
We're done.
moist.
I'm
Let's
so
get
proud
outta
of
here.
you, Evey.
We're done.
I
We're done.
love
Let me
you.
say the fucking thing. You know
Say
what
it.
they say in
I
Milwaukee?
don't
Ben.
want you to
No.
do this.
Ben,
thing.
come on.
Please.
You can't use a hard F, okay?
What?